U.S. TIMA provides free medical services for agro-industrial families without health insurance. We look at the inspirational story of Penghu Tzu Cheng, Zeng Bolu, who passed away on July 7th. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Margaret Lin. Thank you for joining us. Australian Tzu Chi volunteers conducted their 3-month regular food distributions in the Queensland area. Since the location is in the Southern Hemisphere, winter is in full force. To ensure that the elderly and children can get through the harsh coldness, the volunteers brought scarves to keep them warm.
In the Southern Hemisphere, located at Queensland, Australia, the chill of the early morning is slowly heating up.
Good. Are you okay? You cold? Why you come early with Mama?
Oh, he's a bit too small.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just want to give to you a nice time.
Yeah, that's it.
You're very welcome, sir.
The scarf is a bonding symbol between the care recipients and volunteers. Every 3 months, there's also a food distribution, and each party looks very forward to it.
Per one, $10. But this one could carry 20 kilos. And also, watch. Why? Tzu Chi will give every people this one.
Tzu Chi is advancing with the times. The Queensland official in Australia has started completely banning disposable plastic bags starting July 1st of this year.
You and me, every people together. Only for Tzu Chi do the protect us, not enough. We have together.
There was a small Buddha Day celebration that took place, and volunteers made an innovative change.
At the Buddha's feet. Okay, take a card.
After taking a Jingsi aphorism card, the piece of wisdom will follow each participant home.
Thank you! And thank you! And thank you! And Papa, bring home. You can bring home. You bring home. September, bring back to us. Thank you. Thank you.
U.S. TIMA members regularly visit San Bernardino, California to hold free clinics. Most of the residents here are from agro-industrial families who don't have medical insurance. Therefore, TIMA's free medical services are a great aid to them in their most helpless states. As soon as the free clinic begins, Robin Givan comes to the registration area and quickly completes her basic health checkup. Later, she will visit 3 different clinics.
The treatment is very good because sometimes when I go to the doctor, I might have to sit there for maybe 2 hours before I even see the doctor. And when I get to the doctor, I'm only there 5 minutes. But here I get to see the doctor, the acupuncture, the dentist, and maybe like an hour I'm here. And I'm seeing 3 doctors. It's terrific.
U.S. TIMA goes to San Bernardino every 3 months to hold a free clinic. Dr. Mario Jimenez, who works in the Department of Public Health at the college near Indian Springs High School, brought as students to serve as the clinic.
We're honored to participate today with your organization, and it is a great experience to have our students be able to do these different types of skill sets, performing as future pharmacists.
The principal of an elementary school and the owner of a technology company also joined volunteers to serve the needy.
Within this community, there's lots of immigration problems. And so many of them don't want to go to the doctor. They don't want to go to the regular clinics. And so they prefer to come here to get the support, and they do. They get lots of support, lots of help at of no cost at all. And it's wonderful to see.
When they were treated, they all felt very happy. After seeing their happiness, people who live a life full of blessings like us have benefited the most, while also bringing joy to other people.
The volunteers' dedication over the years has inspired local residents to carry out the acts of giving.
When I go to the store and I put the change inside in the can, because you help us with food in the clinic for us too. And thank you so much for help us.
The professional treatments of Tzu Chi's medical team, together with the guidance and company of volunteers, have brought hope to San Bernardino. Residents of the community are also willing to turn from a receiver to a giver, spreading blessings to more people. In our next report, 2 sisters' homes were destroyed during the massive earthquake in Mexico, leaving their family of 11 living in tents. It was such a devastating blow to the entire community, but they have found the strength to keep moving forward. They needed to stay strong in order to show the value of resilience for their children. After receiving the help from Tzu Chi, this family have learned just how blessed they are to be even alive and vow to help others who are less fortunate than they are.
When the earthquake began, we were in the streets with our kids coming back from school. When we arrived home and got inside the house, the earthquake got worse and the house just started collapsing. Everything was silent.
And we reached out to the cement blocks. For me, it took so much. It took all I had in me. I carried my child out to the street and he said, "Mommy, the house is falling. Where will we sleep now? What are we going to eat? What are we going to do? Where will we sleep now?" It was very overwhelming.
Una cosa, desesperante. De acá para acá, hasta acá, era mi casa.
Aquí es lo que era mi casa. Ahora estamos viviendo.
Now we live in these camping tents here, and here's another one with a donated bed. This is where we bathe, and that's the bathroom. The wind comes in here easily, and it makes it quite cold. Thank God for the honest people that helped us without even knowing us, and vice versa.
They gave help to each family. She was given help for her family. I was helped with mine and my father for his.
Well, now I'm putting this block here in the house and chains along the bars. What I know is the assistance that they gave us is of great help. It's a joyful feeling for those of us who've been helped.
Todo se quedó enterrado.
Everything was buried, and we didn't have time to rescue anything. What I bought with the cash cart were these 2 dressers and a stove.
I have learned to value people and accepted that we are all the same, because the earthquake didn't discriminate between those who had more or had less.
Ni el que tenía más, ni el que tenía menos.
Nos sirvió.
All of this happening taught us so much. There was so much that we had learned, like the value of family.
We need to help others like they helped us. We need to all join hands with each other, just like the people of the Tzu Chi Foundation who helped without even knowing me.
En la Fundación Tzu Chi.
In Indonesia, teachers and students from a Tzu Chi school in Jakarta went to visit the children as the Indonesia Care for Cancer Kids Foundation. The students and the children at the center are very similar in age, so an instant bond was created. Through various interactive activities, the youth children can temporarily forget the daily pain and suffering that they have to go through. Let's join them at this cheerful event.
The dance steps are light and full of rhythm. If you didn't notice one of the dancers doesn't have an arm, you wouldn't think there was any differences between her and the others. Sekolah Jingda Gaisei Tzu Chi students and teachers went to visit the Indonesia Care for Cancer Kids Foundation to care for the children.
We are here to play with the children. They are very enthusiastic and very approachable. They tell us that they want to know more about us. Plus, they kept on saying that they didn't want us to leave.
Currently, the children who are being cared for by the Indonesia Care for Cancer Kids Foundation are mostly suffering from leukemia and retinoblastoma. The age of the ill children are very similar to the students from Sekolah Jingda Gaisei Tzu Chi, so it's very easy for the 2 groups to bond.
We must promote the idea of empathy in children. This is a very important value. No matter where they go, it will always be useful to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Our school has a weekly donation day. I always encourage everyone to donate what they can. Through these types of activities, we can learn how the cycle of great love works.
Love is non-discriminatory. It's a language that transcends all differences. The pure and innocent interactions with the ill children can momentarily help them forget their daily struggles and give us hope for the future.
Zeng Bolu was a Tzu Chi volunteer in Penghu, Taiwan. He was among the first team members of Tzu Cheng in the area who took the lead to promote Tzu Chi missions. In addition, he even donated a piece of land for the construction of the official Penghu Tzu Cheng. He was motivated to give his Tzu Chi family a place to reunite and hold activities on a regular basis. On the morning of July 7th, he sadly passed away due to liver cancer at the age of 81. His family and Tzu Chi families are surrounding him in his final hours to give him all their blessings. In 2004, Zeng Bolu took responsibility for the establishment of Tzu Chi Policemen's Welfare Association in Penghu.
After the establishment of the Tzu Chi Policemen's team, we would work together to help wherever we were needed.
He was among the first team of Tzu Cheng in Penghu. He always took the initiative to practice Tzu Chi missions. He also donated a land of nearly 330 square meters for the construction of the Penghu Tzu Cheng in 2003.
In Penghu, Tzu Chi held an aid distribution on the 26th of each month. Back then, they had to borrow the venue from many different places. There were also many care recipients who came to receive the rice and financial aids each time. So in order to carry out the charitable works at this scale, Tzu Chi needed an office in Penghu.
He and his wife operated a scooter shop in Penghu. Despite their busy schedules, they still made time taking turns to do volunteer work. Having been volunteering in Tzu Chi for nearly 30 years, they set an amazing example for others to follow.
He paid close attention to the building maintenance of the Jingsi Hall. He would regularly do detailed records of what maintenance work needed to be done. He was always on top of things.
On the morning of July 7th, Zeng Bolu passed away due to an illness at the age of 81. His family and Tzu Chi families were all there to accompany him.
We hope he can come back to continue serving as a Tzu Chi volunteer with us in the next lifetime. A Tzu Chi volunteer kept reminding him not to forget Tzu Chi and asked him to return to the Tzu Chi family as soon as possible.
For the majority of dialysis patients, the process is like a never-ending tunnel. At the Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Malaysia, Diu Sui Hua was once among the group that had no hope for the future. What turned his life around was becoming a recycling volunteer at the local Tzu Chi recycling station. He learned how to source recyclable goods and gained a second family. He now finally has something to look forward to in life.
Ever since 2016, Diu Sui Suo has been going to the Tzu Chi Dialysis Center to receive free services.
Dialysis treatments are expensive. They charge per session. I don't have a lot of money, so it's impossible for me to afford it.
After 2 months of free dialysis treatments, he found a second home, the Tzu Chi recycling station.
I go there often, even on Sundays if they need help, especially on transporting days. At first, I didn't really know all the reasons behind what we were doing. Later, I was told that it was to protect the environment.
From not knowing why he was sorting recyclables to now he has become an unstoppable recycling force.
If I am able to, I will make it there, no matter rain or shine. Only a thunderstorm is what stops me from being able to get there. There are many volunteers there to talk to, and we make a lot of jokes together. It's really an enjoyable time doing recycling with everyone.
When starting dialysis treatments, he thought he hit rock bottom. Instead, through the center, he found a second home at the Tzu Chi recycling station. His interactions with volunteers gave him a whole new purpose in life.
The Ibu Tzu Humanity Academy in Malaysia had a vegetarian cooking contest. All of the participants were parent-child teams who worked together to make creative and healthy cuisines. They use only natural food ingredients during the process. Not only does it promote vegetarianism, but it helps to strengthen the parent-child relationship. These parents-child teams are competing as the vegetarian cooking contest.
很注重这个5种颜色和天然的素材，很好很好。
另外要色香味俱全。
The colorful noodles are made with natural ingredients such as beetroot, seaweed, and carrots. The 8-year-old boy is a competence assistant. In another group, the 5-year-old boy cannot resist the temptation of watermelon.
惜福爱物啊，没有浪费食材。
They cherish resources and they did not waste food ingredients. They also manage their time very well. The fourth category was about healthy dishes. A healthy dish should include nutritious food, whole grains, fresh natural food ingredients, unprocessed food, and food with less salt, less sugar, and less oil.
The judges appreciate the food and eagerly sampled it for test. The young man on the winning team gave an acceptance speech.
I want to thank my mother for her efforts in the contest. Normally my father and I do not cook, so it's always my mother who cooks for us. She came up with all of these ideas.
I want to compliment my child. I have never praised him publicly. Today, I was deeply impressed and touched by my child.
There was only one team that won, but everyone was the winner today when it came to strengthening parents-child relationships. Most people think that when they donate a piece of clothing to developing countries, the goods will automatically go directly to where they donated. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. We have tracked the whereabouts of second-hand clothing and found that many were destroyed or sold again through local markets.
Since 1960, successive droughts and famines have caused local industry to stagnate in Kenya, with the country long being equated with poverty. This heart-wrenching story has been broadcast around the world, triggering global assistance. More than 7,000 charities have moved to Kenya to promote charitable donations and material aid. When people donate a piece of clothing, they may think they are helping a poor child, but this may be very far from the truth.
Damaged or dirty clothes can't be exported as they need to be burned, and 1 kilogram costs about 15 cents because it would be too heavy to ship to Africa. For about 100 kilogram, we can get $20 to $30 US or $40 to $50, depending upon the items.
As we tracked these clothes all the way to Africa, we found that donated secondhand clothing and factory overproduction all ends up in Gikomba, Nairobi, where it is all sold cheaply. With second-hand clothes all becoming profitable goods for merchants, what do charities do when they need clothes? We visit a well-known orphanage in Kenya to find out.
Supplied us with clean water. It's been good.
Erwin is the leader of this orphanage. 50 years ago, he saw countless numbers of children abandoned by their family because of poverty. He took in one after another and now has adopted some 70 children. 18-year-old Alex is here, and this is the orphanage that he grew up in. He takes us to his room on the 3rd floor, where there are 10 single beds and less than 15 square meters of space, as 10 teenagers nearly identical in age live here.
Anyone can wear anything that is here, but in these sectors is everyone's personal.
The shoes in the box are jointly worn by 10 boys. As the children on the 1st floor play and eat, they quickly grow and will soon need more clothes. All the clothes in the orphanage rely on donations, and with 70 children to look after, they never have enough clothes.
I've used those markets
So I have to send our housekeeper. If we need clothes, we'll send her, and she will negotiate and barter with them and get the good price, and not as cheap as donations.
What was supposed to be secondhand clothing to help the poor has been diverted to markets and turned into a commodity. This is the main reason why this orphanage often does not get enough clothes. In order to prevent this, one Taiwan charity brings its items directly to the children who need them.
Watoto wa shule, unaona wako na uniform? Alafu ni wachafu pia, si ndio? Kwa hivyo, na hii ni nini? Sabuni.
This Dr. Catherine instructs children to wear old shoes as a way of preventing chiggers. For the third year, according to data, some 85% of Kenya's 1.5 million people suffer from chiggers.
The man had more than 2,000 jiggers in the body when we found the old man. And some of them die if we have not reached them. But if we reach them, we give them the treatment they need. You see.
This pair of brothers are happily carrying 2 pairs of shoes home. According to our information, most charities are limited by local contacts, as well as security concerns, as they mostly target a single community or village on a long-term basis. This may mean that some communities have excess resources. We found that some street children regard charities as a way of asking for money.
They're with a...
sponsor me.
He wants me to sponsor you. Oh, okay, Polly. You want to go to school? He wants me to support you, yeah?
Something about 80% were not real street kids. Their parents don't want to pay for their school fees, so they send them to the streets to get money or to find missionaries and try to trick them into paying for their school fees.
What was thought to be philanthropy has in fact become part of a vicious cycle. Our pursuit of secondhand clothing deep into the African continent has found that it did create many employment opportunities, as well as created much poverty. Too many secondhand clothes has blocked economic development. The Kenyan government's new tariff increase hasn't stemmed the tide, potentially becoming a difficult environmental problem for this impoverished country to deal with.
Minzhi Elementary School in Guangdong, China held a book donation ceremony for more than 900 students. The event was hosted to thank the enterprises for buying books, whom were encouraged by Tzu Chi volunteers back in early June. We will leave you with these images. Thanks for watching.